Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with episode 47 of Anchored at Harbor Park. I'm Coach Jason.
I'm Coach Dave.
Coach Corian.
And today we have a very special interview for you guys. We're getting on a call with Seth Wagner of Pure Spectrum. We actually just had the call with him, and he's a really cool dude. He told us all about, the benefits of the different CBD products, why we should use them as competitive athletes, or if you're just an everyday athlete just trying to get healthy. And then he kind of goes into some concerns that some of you have voiced about, are they legal for military? Do they have THC, etc., all that stuff. So it's a pretty informative episode. We had a good chat with them. Either of you have anything?
I think the best thing that I learned today was I think that us Midwesterners always feel like we're behind the curve in the new and upcoming things, but this is something that is new and upcoming for just about everybody. So we're right in the thick of it with everybody else, so I don't feel so behind this time.
Yeah, and I like it because obviously it's something that's coming out. It's in the CrossFit scene. A lot of people are taking different products, but we've brought it up and most people just didn't know about it. So instead of just buying a product and seeing if people wanted to use it without having that background, at least you can hear it from a rep of a reputable company who can talk about his product and give you guys some information on it. So with that, here's the interview.
Welcome to Anchored at Harbor Park CrossFit, a show dedicated to helping you find enrichment for the other 23 hours of your day outside of the gym. Here's your hosts, Jason, Dave, and Corian.
All right, then we're ready. So,
all right.
Episode 47, right? Okay. All right, man. So, Jason will start us off here.
Yeah, why don't you just talk to us about Pure Spectrum, kind of how you guys got started?
Yeah. So the company itself, Pure Spectrum is about 3 years old. I was not here for the actual founding of it. I came along, interestingly enough, I kind of came along around the same time you guys were introduced to Pure Spectrum. I was hired I was running my own media company. And so I was hired. They needed someone to come in and write and produce 2 commercials with Brooke Ends. I was a CrossFitter. None of them were. They found a guy who was running a media company who happened to have also been CrossFitting for about 6 years and was competitive for a long time. And so they brought me in. I also happened to be a former TV producer. So I sat down with Brooke and we kind of came up with a concept for the 2 ads that we did. It was pretty cool writing a couple of commercials that aired. I got to watch them air on the big screen at the CrossFit Games. That was a pretty awesome experience. And after that, it was kind of, they were really making this hard play to get into CrossFit, this new vertical integration, this new marketplace. I thought I had been a cannabis activist as well for a long time, and I thought it was just a perfect mix. I'd been talking about CBD for a while when it came to athletic recovery. I knew it was going to be a big deal. And I knew CrossFit. I knew that marketplace. I knew that if some of these big name athletes, if we could get past that trust barrier, this is okay to take. You're not going to fail a drug test. We get past that we could be opening ourselves up into a marketplace, a large marketplace of people who are extremely dedicated to health and fitness and give them something that I knew was going to work. So I knew it was going to be big. It was big. We basically 8x'd our company in 1 week. It was the kind of growth that cripples most. It almost crippled us. And wow. They always say it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. It's not always a good problem to have. When you go from being a $40,000 a month company to 8 times that, it literally in 1 week. I mean, it was that quick. So. That was a really wild time, but that's really the moment that Pure Spectrum went from being sort of just kind of on the cusp of success along with a lot of other CBD companies to oh my gosh, like this is huge now. Like we're a big company now. So that's kind of been the journey up to that point. It was just building a company. They built it in Brady's basement. Brady Bell's the founder. He's my boss. They built it in his basement. They were filling tincture bottles in his basement. And now we got I think 25 employees now. We have a retail store in La Jolla. We have a retail store here at our headquarters as well. CrossFit gyms everywhere selling our stuff. So it's been a pretty wild ride. Yeah.
Seth, can you kind of expand on that? Because we're from Wisconsin. I don't know if my partners can kind of agree with me on this, but I had never even heard of CBD at all. Like, I had no idea what this was. All of a sudden, we went to the CrossFit Games, saw you guys, and then it seemed like every week after that, a new company was sprouting up here or there, and all over the place. So is this going on maybe out west a little bit more? In the Midwest, we really hadn't seen it at all.
Well, for sure, but it's not even the Midwest. It really is everywhere. In Colorado, because cannabis is legal here, for sure. You have CBD companies. We can't sell in dispensaries because dispensaries are only licensed to sell products with THC. So the CBD companies that can sell and dispose typically have maybe 1 or 2%. And there is actually a lot of research that shows CBD works best. They call it the entourage effect, where you take it in with a small amount of THC as well. But obviously that's not the marketplace we're in. So it's not just the Midwest for sure. We're talking about, I think, the entire globe. You're talking about 7% of the population even knows what CBD is on any level. And that could be a really rudimentary level that they understand it on. So we really are in a marketplace. You're absolutely right. They're cropping up. It's not just you seeing that. They're popping up right and left. A lot of companies are getting into, they're like, well, we can't start our own CBD company, but we're a supplement company that already deals with CrossFit. You've probably seen this with a couple of companies as well. All of a sudden they're rolling out a CBD tincture. A lot of those companies are doing what's called white labeling or whatever. They're having another company make it for them. But it does kind of segue into something that you mentioned earlier in the questions that you shot over to me, which is about that purity and testing and who can you trust, who can you rely on in this industry. And so that's been a big focal point for us because there are a lot of people out there looking to make a quick buck off this, and it's not really you can do that for sure, but there's not longevity with that.
Right. So maybe can we expand on that? Where you said
just the testing and purity and stuff.
Yeah, like why our members are asking us about it because it's starting to become a huge thing. But we have a very large law enforcement, firefighter, military membership, who is obviously they get drug tested, so this would be a concern.
Absolutely. And I actually I was thinking about mentioning this to you guys. I won't throw any names out there just because it's kind of just happening. But I just had a friend of mine who he has never consumed THC in his life. He got into CBD. I introduced him to CBD. He chose to go with another company, a company that would kind of go along with what I was talking about. People would come into the marketplace and make a quick buck. He did all his due diligence. He works in oil and gas. He gets tested frequently. He went out and went with another company, but he did his due diligence. He went and found, do they have third-party lab tests on our website? Well, this company did, and that third-party lab test said 0. I know for a fact that test was a lie. Like, I know for a fact that was not 0 because I know I know he's never taken THC, and he popped hot. And it's because he was buying it from a company. It's just not, it's a small company. They're not reputable. That testing every single batch of product costs money, and it's not cheap. You can't just say, oh, they have third-party lab tests. That's not enough. You have to say, are they third-party lab testing every single batch? Because there's differences in every single batch. And if they're not testing every single batch and they're throwing up a third-party lab test from 4 months ago, they've sold out of that batch. And now what are you buying? Has it been tested? You don't know. And there's no real rules here either. And so what happens when you fail a UA at your job and you lost your job like this kid did? It's a $140,000 a year job you just lost. And that's, I don't want, that's why I only speak for our product. And because I know that we test every single batch. My brother's an air traffic controller. My best friend is a firefighter. They both use our product every day and they've both been tested. And I can say that. I can tell people, I can say, listen, if you're taking just our product and no other products, there's confidence there. There's a reason that Brooke Entz can take our product and not have to worry about it. There's a reason that Noah Olson can take our product and not worry about it. It's because we're not in here to make a quick buck off somebody and then get out of the marketplace. marketplace. We're in here for the long haul, and we want that trust and we want that confidence in our product. And in a marketplace where everyone, like you said, everyone is popping up here. There's so many companies popping up. I'm not saying we're the only ones that you can trust. I'm just saying we're the only ones that I can tell you with 100% confidence that you can trust.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that. I guess I never thought that it's not like food. You know, you test just a little bit and you're like, oh, it's fine. I didn't realize that, you know, each batch could be different and it's imperative to test them all. That's amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if the company, like I said, I'm not saying we're the only ones, but if the company you're buying from is not posting new lab tests, or they don't even have to post it, just as long as they give their customers access to it. If you ask for it, if you're doing your due diligence, because a lot of people don't care. I don't care if I'm consuming. I consume THC. I smoke weed every day and take THC or CBD every day. So like, you know, it doesn't bother me, but I also work in an industry where I can do that. And I don't get tested. And I'm not at a competitive level in CrossFit where I would ever have to worry about that. And THC and CrossFit, the other good thing about THC and CrossFit, if you are dealing with, you know, a regional level athlete or an athlete who's maybe hoping to achieve that level, you know, THC isn't even outlawed. It's only competition that it's banned for CrossFit athletes. Danny Horan is someone who asked me about that too. When she first came on and started taking our product, she was asking about that too. And I was like, yeah, it's only actually banned in competition season. Of course, now what is that?
Yeah.
You don't even really know what competition is anymore. So maybe that's all 12 months of the year now.
Cool. Let's shift gears a little bit, because like I said, not many people around here really know what it is. I'm gonna just kind of talk about like the benefits of the CBD oil, why people should think about using it, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So the first thing that I think people need to understand when we start talking about educating people about CBD, the first thing we kind of go to is everyone knows we have a respiratory system. Everyone knows that we have a central nervous system. Most people, it hasn't been that long, only a few decades really, since doctors discovered that we also have what's called an endocannabinoid system, and that our body produces these things naturally, and that they are used to regulate everything, all aspects of your body, homeostasis, bring your body into balance. Your body needs, when you're dealing with things that this regulates, when you're talking about mood, immune system function, appetite, stress and anxiety, muscle soreness, all these things that represent your body being out of balance. There's something out of balance there. And this is something that we know can bring your body back into balance. So that should mean, technically, you would think in theory then that it would mean all of these different areas could be benefited by taking that. Now, the interesting thing is you say, well, tell me about the benefits of CBD. Well, the FDA won't let me. The FDA won't let me tell you. The FDA will not let me. The government owns a patent on CBD, and you can look the patent up and you can read it. And you can say, oh my God, the government says that it's one of the most powerful neuroprotectants in the world. The government says that it's a powerful anti-inflammatory. And yet if I run out here and I tell you guys, if we record this and I say, oh yeah, it'll help you sleep, the FDA can technically send me a cease and desist. They can send you a warning letter. And if you continue doing it, then they can just seize all the money that you've made like since you started making those claims. And so the way that we kind of get around that is I'll tell you, sometimes I'll say, I can't tell you that it'll help you sleep or that it fixes inflammation and sore, if you rub a topical on sore muscles that you're going to feel better. I can't say that. Well, I did, but I told you I can't. I can't tell you that I've never experienced sleep the way that I have since I started taking CBD. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that, days after doing 150 GHDs when I haven't done GHDs in 2 weeks, that soreness in the top of my abs where I feel like I can't stand up straight or laugh or anything like that for 2 days, I can't tell you that won't be a thing. I can't tell you that rubbing Afterwater on that will fix all that. So I know what your body being out of balance in a number of ways can do to you, especially when it comes to athletic recovery. Your inability to sleep deeply, to get REM sleep, your inability, especially as men then, to produce testosterone when you're sleeping, you know, you can really break your body down doing what we do. And having something that brings your body back into balance and can kind of regulate those functions is something that's extremely valuable, especially to athletes, but anybody who's dealing with, you know, I've seen people who come off barbiturate prescriptions dealing with anxiety, stress. I've seen people stop using their Xanax prescriptions unfilled. You know, there's a lot of ways that we can bring our body back, into balance, can correct. And I think the popularity of CBD within the CrossFit community right now is a testament to that.
Nice. Very cool.
Exactly. All right, what else we got?
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So there are, you know, claims about, you know, we can't say that it'll be better sleep or anything. Is there a preference on when to take the CBD oil, such as like with the drops? I've tried it. We use it. He loves it before bed. I am already a very like visual and I dream a lot, so it tends to kind of I feel I have even crazier dreams. So I haven't been taking
Really?
it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so yeah, the time thing is a big thing, and you're noticing a lot of companies. We did this with Afterwad. A lot of companies are starting to figure that out. That's one of the main questions: is when do I take this? Like, when's the most beneficial time to take this? So more and more companies you're starting to see come out with like Rise, Sand, like this is when you take it bed, because it's all really the same shit, you know. So it's just telling you what to take it. So with Afterwad, we wanted to do a little bit of that and be like, you know, this is something you use like it's recovery, it's post workout. But to your point, I personally, just for routine, take it at night. I use the 1250. I use a dropper at night, and then I also mix my THC and our vape product. I'll mix my THC concentrate in the vape pen with the CBD for like a 1-to-1, and I'll use that during the day. But really, the key is when you're talking about daily use, there really isn't a specific time that you would probably see more benefit. I think mentally maybe the placebo for me before bed helps me sleep too. I do think that's part of it. But it's a cumulative effect, first of all. So we always tell people, give it a couple weeks. It is a cumulative effect in your body. That's the way your endocannabinoid system works. So I like to tell people, give it 10 days, you know, and see if you feel anything, if you feel any difference. For spot treatment, I think vaping is the best. It's the fastest way to get it into your system. But I understand that on a health level, some people, we do our vape products with no PG, no PV. It is a healthy product, but I understand some people just don't. I get it. I get the visuals of that. So I think for spot treatment, if you're taking it for something like to deal with anxiety or stress or something like that, I like the isolate. If you don't like to vape, using the isolate powder under your tongue is that's about the second fastest way to get it. For daily use, I think the drops are the best. I think it's the most convenient way to get it every day. But again, the best time to take CBD during the day is the time that you will take it all the time during the day. It's kind of like a diet. It's as good as whatever you're going to stick to. That's going to be probably the better one for you. That's kind of what it is when it comes to just that daily use. But for spot treatment, I think it's, you know, vaping or isolate, or if you're spot treating it for inflammation or for muscles, using a topical like that. I use the face and hand lotion like every day. I'm a sucker for high-end beauty products or whatever. So I love the face lotion, but that's kind of my thing. But yeah, I mean, broadly, there's no perfect time to take it. A lot of that depends on why you take it too. You know, what you're taking it for.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely good to know. I guess I didn't think about it taking time too, just like food. I'm a little bit more competitive and work out a little harder than most.
Yeah.
But yeah, so giving it more time, I definitely.
Just shitting on both you guys over here. You guys don't even train.
In fact, I got to train in a little bit here again. So yeah, that longevity and giving it more than just a couple days is important.
For sure.
I'll
definitely get back on that and probably try just another time a day, maybe in the morning when I'm getting ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Pick something that you're going to stick to and try and give it that. Yeah. Try and give it a solid 10 days. Some people, some people will have a reaction immediately, like even just while we're sampling it, they'll feel a change in their mood, something, but it really is so individual. Everybody's respiratory system is different, just like everyone's endocannabinoid system is a little bit different. We produce different levels on our own, and we have different demands. Our bodies have different demands. Someone like you the demands you put your body through every day are going to be wildly different from someone in a 9-to-5 job, but that person in a 9-to-5 job might be dealing with a lot more stress and anxiety. Whereas you might be dealing with more of your body being broken down and trying to recover faster.
Or all of it.
All of it, yeah. Not to say that people who work out don't get stressed too.
Seth, I have a question. So, like, obviously, you guys have a lot of products. I've had a couple of my athletes asking me, like, well, which one should we use? Obviously, you have a couple different other tincture products, and I think it's just the sizing of the bottle, I believe, is how it's labeled out, but it goes like 250, 500. It's not like necessarily how potent it is, right? It's just the size.
Right. So you're very close on. So you're right. 250 and 500 are actually the same formulation. One is just 15 servings versus 30. Now, however, that's the same difference between the 1250 and the 500. The 1250, the 250 and 500 formulation in 1 ml dropper of our 250 or 500, you're going to get 16 and change, 16.86 milligrams of CBD. I like to take about 40 milligrams a day. That's kind of what I've figured out to be my sweet spot, is between 40 and 80. So one dropper of our 1250 or 2500, 30 servings versus 60, but formulation the same. One dropper of that is 40.12 milligrams. So I can know that if all I take during the day is my one dropper at 1250, I know I'm getting 40 milligrams. So for me, I use the 1250. If someone else has been playing around with it and maybe they feel that, especially maybe someone lower body weight, a female, you might be talking about 20 to 25 might be that sweet spot for them. So, a dropper and a half of the 500 would be that sweet spot. So again, very kind of gets into the your personal needs and what you're taking it for. We have a how to tincture video out on our YouTube. We're actually putting how-to videos of all our products out. We currently have a how-to tincture, and we have a how-to topical videos coming out as well. But just kind of showing you the breakdowns of, hey, this is what's in this versus this is what's in this. Because you go to our site, you see a 250, 500, 1250, 2500. Then you go to someone else's site, you see a 600, a 1240, and an 1850. You're like, half the people don't even know what these numbers mean. And really what you should be telling people on the bottles isn't all that. You should be like, this is our XL tincture. It's 40 milligrams a dropper. That's what's important, is how much am I getting per dropper. So that's what we've been trying to do with some of the education, because it can be, man. I think a lot of people don't buy. They want to try it. We've all been a part of something like this where we see other people doing it. You get that FOMO a little bit. You're like, what's everyone doing? I want to be a part of this. And you get intimidated by your lack of knowledge. And I don't want anyone coming on our website and being like, I want to buy this. I want to take part in this and see what it's like. But I'm just so confused that I'm going to go with a topical, because that's easy. So education is very important when it comes to marketing. When it comes to my position, is not just trying to sell you our product, but trying to sell you on the idea of CBD first, and then to buy our product.
Gotcha.
I like that. That's a good visual. I sell you on CrossFit, and then I sell you on our CrossFit.
Yeah, CrossFit, exactly. You're trying to add to the marketplace. You're trying to add people to the marketplace, with the idea being that because you were the one that introduced them, and you introduced them in a way that was welcoming, that was educational, that gave them what they needed, that they'll then buy from you or train at your gym or buy your CBD product or whatever it is. So it's always that, like, I hate it when I introduce someone to CBD and then I see like my friend, I'm like, oh, you lost your job? Because you went and bought from somebody else, man. I told you, you should have bought from me. But yeah, it's a fine line of, you want to expose them to their product, but then you want them to consume your version of the product.
Yeah, and then my last question would be, obviously a lot of companies out there sell gummies. I noticed that you guys do not. Is there a reason?
So we do have a gummy that we sell in retail. The reason that we don't have a gummy currently is because and I think this kind of goes a little bit to what we were talking about before too, with a lot of companies coming in space. And this isn't to criticize any company out there that has gummies. We haven't figured out. We've gone through a couple different formulators to test this. We're working on R&D. We want gummies. So far, we have not found one that has been very consistent. So we might end up, we would take the gummies we would get and we would go, we're going to test everything on our own. Again, it's just what we do. So we're going to take that bottle of gummies and we're going to go test every single gummy in that bottle. And if it says 10 milligram gummies, if one of those gummies comes up below like 9.5 plus, I'm not using that formulator. We're not going to put out a product that we can't back up. And so far, we've struggled to find a formulator who can be real consistent at the price point we're looking for. So what we've been doing right now is we only sell them in retail, and we sell little 4 gummy bags, and we say there's 40 milligrams in this bag. Because we can't say for a fact that one of those has 10 in it, because one of them might have 14 in it, and one of them might have 6. But we can say with confidence that in the whole bag you're going to get 40. So R&D, definitely working on it. We want gummies. We know people want gummies, but it is kind of that exciting time too. We're also working on. We have a kids vitamin that we're producing right now. That's almost like a Flintstones chewable. It has 10 milligrams in it. And then we're going to be able to formulate a daily multivitamin for adults off that as well. We have bath salts coming out. We did bath bombs with Brooke, but we're doing actual full bag Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate with CBD infused in it. I've been prototype testing this. Oh my God, trust me, like Valentine's Day rolled around and telling my girl, I'm like, yeah, you got like 6 of these bags, whatever. Like you can't even buy these in the stores. It's no big deal.
Awesome.
So yeah, we are testing a lot of new products out there. R&D can be difficult at times in this industry because, like I said, I know I could roll out gummies tomorrow. I could send y'all an email tomorrow to my email list, and I could make 60 grand tomorrow selling gummies. I know everybody wants them, and that's something we could do if we were just in it for the money. If we weren't in it for like putting out a product that we could back up to athletes who we know are extremely conscious about what they're putting in their bodies, I'm not going to give someone a gummy that has 7 milligrams if we said 10. And until I can be confident that that's going to be the case, I'm not going to put that product
out. Nice.
Good to know.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else?
No, I don't. Thank you, Seth.
Seth, do you have anything else that you can leave us with for our people that are listening?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things. I love talking to groups like this and then getting to know that this is going to be put out and sit in front of a bunch of people just like me. I'm 37 years old. I got 2 kids. I found CrossFit 6 years ago. It changed my life completely. I went from being a guy who was 260 pounds, just your everyday suburban guy sitting on a couch. And, I think I did 14 comps last year. I'm never going to go to regionals. I'm never going to go to Masters regionals. I know that. I've been CrossFitting long enough that I'm not like one of those delusional people who thinks it's coming. But at the same time, I understand that it's still, we as CrossFitters still take this seriously. It's more than just working out for us. And so for me to be able to introduce as a job now, introduce a product to people that I take every day, that I know the benefits of, and that I was able to be out at the games and see all those people coming in and sampling every day, coming in and buying every day and talking about how much has changed their life. For me to be able to introduce people to CrossFit as a hobby, but then also have this aspect where I get to introduce people to something that I see as just being so beneficial. So our bodies are designed to take this in. And if we're not, then we're just saying we're choosing to not be optimal. We're choosing to not be running at top efficiency. So to be able to introduce people like me to that is just, I don't work a day in my life. This is not work for me. This is fun. Someone asked me what I would do with my life if I didn't have to worry about working anymore, and I would be talking to them about CrossFit. Those are the 2 things that I love writing about, that I love talking about. So to introduce people in my own community like this to something I know is going to help them live a better life, live a fuller life is definitely something I enjoy every day, and I really hope that everyone who's watching this comes away with it, even if CBD is not something that they want to take or that they think they would benefit from. At least they come away with it with a better level understanding of what it is. And then maybe someone else that they run into down the line that they're talking to, they introduce, maybe their kid doesn't have the seizures that he's having, or maybe, they're able to achieve something athletically that they wanted to. But whatever it is, it's a joy for me to be able to do it every day. So this was a big pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you, Seth. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anytime you guys need anything, just hit me up.
Awesome. Thanks, Seth. Nice to meet you.
All right. Yeah. Goodbye. See you guys.
Bye.